Price, divorce, co-parenting, and life transition coach. I am also a child product of a high conflict divorce in which I was stuck in the middle of my parents' divorce, as well as a co-parent who was involved in a high conflict co-parenting relationship where my children got stuck in the middle of our divorce. It is because of my experience as well as my healing that it is my passion to work with parents to set them up for a successful co-parenting relationship so that no more children are stuck in the middle of their parents' co-parenting dynamics, so that they are free to love and be loved by both of their parents. It is my mission to prevent the generational trauma when children are not free to love and be loved by both of their parents. In this video, this is the second of a 4-video series that I've coined the 4 foundations for a successful co-parenting relationship. You will hear me talk about the second of those 4 foundations today. That second foundation is internal boundaries. I invite you to listen and learn what internal boundaries actually mean and how you might be able to apply internal boundaries to your unique co-parenting dynamic that you are involved in. I'm going to talk about the 4 really what I think foundational things for any parent who is divorcing or is co-parenting. And it can be, you can do it now as you're starting your divorce, or it's okay if you have been co-parenting for a while and this is just new stuff. That's okay too, because these foundations will truly, truly help you shift and rethink about that co-parenting, shared parenting relationship with your children's other parents, and help you set up an environment so that you, your children, and your shared parenting all live happier, peaceful, more calm lives with reduced conflict. Number 2 is internal boundaries. So I don't know how many of you have heard or thought about what internal boundaries might look like. I recently did a blog to my newsletter people about internal boundaries. And there's so many unique things about internal boundaries. So internal boundaries start with knowing you. What do you want? What's important to you? How do you best thrive? Those are the internal questions you need to ask yourself. What's good for you? How do you need to thrive? And what do you need? So it's really back to that fundamental question that I talked about, is what do you want? What do you want your life in 5 years to look like? So you start there. Once you know what you want, then you look at how you make it happen. So you put together action plan and goals. And part of that is so you have action plan and goals. So I'll give you a concrete example. My, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, what did I want? I wanted to have a thriving, balanced life where I could work and do my passion, financially thrive by doing my passion, and have enough time and effort and energy, because I wasn't working like a dog, to exercise, have fun with friends, to be around family, and to be fully rounded as a person. Because most of my adult life, I have gone very, very, very fast and have not had a very well-balanced life. I'll just tell you. So that was, what do I want? That's me. What do I want? So then I went out and started searching for it. So I found my passion. My passion is this, what I'm doing. My passion, my why is helping you all process and identify the pain and trauma of your past and of the relationship so that you become aware and conscious so that your kids are not caught in the middle. This is my passion. This is my why. So I found it. That's number one. So how do I put the rest of the items of my picture of what my goals and everything were? This is where the internal boundaries come in play. So I found my passion. Yay. Sometimes that's not an easy feat, I will say. So once you find that, then you have to define what you're willing. What is that for me in my situation? What does that balance look like? How much of my time am I going to spend doing X, Y, and Z? And so I set those goals. I'm going to spend X number of hours per day working on growing my passion, financially, business, and promoting my business and working on the details of my business. I'm going to spend X number of hours and time per day with my personal family and friends. And I'm going to spend X number of time per day for me to debrief and be quiet because I need that as well. Okay, so I set that out. And I did this about 3 years ago. And you know what happens? Nothing changed. I was still going crazy. I still was charging. You know why? I hadn't set internal boundaries for myself. I put those goals on my calendar. Sure, I put that time blocks on my calendar. But for me, I hadn't set something so clear that it was my own boundary that even I wouldn't violate it to, oh, just one more thing for my job. Oh, just one more thing. That is what an internal boundary is. So what did I have to do? I had to then even get more clear with myself. I set these time blocks. I sent everything. I had to find something that would hold me to my own internal boundary because I kept violating it. So, and internal boundaries. So what might that look like when you do your whole life and then you look at your co-parenting boundaries? So your co-parenting boundaries might look something like, geez, I've started the divorce process. I internally am feeling that it's still hard for me to interact with my co-parent. So because it's still hard for me to interact with my co-parent, I really would prefer to have all communication via email or a parenting app. So if that's what I decide I want, it's not good or bad. There's nothing to it. It's what I decided I needed. That's what I needed. So let's use that as an example. This is what is going to work for me, let's say. So I've decided my internal need is to only communicate with my co-parent via email or a co-parenting app. Okay, great. So now what? Do I just go tell them, hey, by the way, don't talk to me any other way via email or the co-parenting app? Big no. So now you think about that business partner relationship. And now you think about it. And so there's lots of ways to handle that communication, if at all. So one way is if you're still going through the parenting plan and the divorcing process, you might look at switches and drop-offs, knowing your internal needs, and you might build in something that allows for your drop-offs not to be where you physically you have to see each other. Maybe it's a school. Maybe drop-offs are drop off at the beginning and pick up at the end. Maybe it's a sporting or a music event. Maybe it's another place where one parent drops off, the other parent picks up, and there's no having to overlap. In that manner, you don't even need to communicate that message. There's other ways that you might think and stop, and maybe you don't even need to communicate that message. I hope you enjoyed listening to this video and learned what an internal boundary is and started thinking about how you might be able to apply this to your unique co-parenting relationship. If you are struggling in your co-parenting relationship, or you just are starting out in the divorce process and really are interested in setting up your co-parenting relationship for success, I encourage you to reach out to me and schedule a complimentary strategy session.